She remembered that cold, as if the air itself was designed to test people's honesty. The ski resort had always seemed temporary to her, as if people came not just to rest, but to shed old skin, to leave behind the invisible weight of their everyday selves. Mia, 25, had arrived alone, after a period in which she had stopped trusting herself. She didn't know exactly what she wanted to change, didn't even know what she truly believed in. She only knew that if she stayed in her usual routine, she would sink back into the same old cycles of emptiness, the silent corridors of doubt in her mind. The slope called to her, not just for speed or skill, but as a kind of therapy, a way to feel the pulse of life again. She believed that moving down a trail, feeling the momentum, could bring her body back to herself, reconnect her to her own senses and heartbeat. Kristina, 27, had also come for reasons she couldn't entirely name. She was seeking air, space, a temporary freedom from being the one everyone turned to, the one who always had the answers, the one who never broke. She had always kept everything under control, always hidden any sign of weakness. But she hadn't been honest with herself for a long time. She was afraid to admit that she longed to let someone see the heart inside her, tender and fragile. She needed someone who could exist alongside her without expecting her to be unbreakable. Admitting that aloud was impossible. Admitting it to herself had taken months. They met by the trail map in the lobby, where tourists pressed their gloved fingers to the charts, debating where to ski. People in heavy boots moved loudly, shouted, laughed too sharply. And in that noisy, bustling hall, the accidental silence between two strangers stood out almost indecently. "You can't decide where to go either?" Mia said, smiling a little nervously. Kristina turned her head. Her gaze was confident, almost too calm, but Mia noticed the flicker of something hidden, layers of anxiety beneath the surface, carefully covered, yet visible if you looked closely. "I'm just trying to figure out where's best to start," Kristina said softly, as if the right trail could change the day. "Sometimes, yes," Mia said, not looking away. "Sometimes choosing one line can change much more than just a run." They laughed, though both understood. It wasn't really about skiing. Later, they skied together. They didn't dive into personal details immediately, but there was a rhythm, almost unspoken, that felt familiar despite having just met. Kristina noticed herself wanting to be close. Mia felt a surprising calm, a trust she hadn't allowed herself in years. They talked on the lift, breathed in the cold, and looked down at the slopes, as if they both sensed that this day would matter more than any speed run could. By evening, in the lounge near the fireplace, where the flames crackled softly and the smell of hot chocolate hinted at childhood memories, Kristina removed her gloves in a gesture that felt intimate and vulnerable. Mia shivered unexpectedly, a thrill she couldn't quite explain. "Why did you come alone?" Kristina asked, breaking the comfortable silence. "I needed to disconnect from the world," Mia said. "Otherwise, I wouldn't have managed." "And you?" "Because I haven't allowed myself to be weak for a long time. And I'm tired." The words rang too honest, startling both of them. Silence followed. For a moment, they both felt something akin to fear and relief. The next day brought complications. Kristina unexpectedly refused to ski together. She chose the distant, difficult slopes and avoided Mia's gaze. Mia felt it, a small pang of worry and confusion. Had she done something wrong? Or was this simply the reflex of someone who had spent a lifetime guarding their heart, unwilling to let anyone in, no matter how strong the desire? By evening, they coincidentally met at the sushi bar in the hotel. Though it seemed accidental, Mia felt that fate had something subtler at work. "You disappeared." "Why?" Mia asked. "Because I liked you immediately more than I've ever allowed myself to feel. And it's frightening," Kristina admitted without softening the words. "We're both afraid," Mia said. "And? Are we going to run our whole lives?" Kristina stared at her. Seconds stretched, as if the world had slowed, and in the silence, the sound of their own hearts seemed to echo, fragile and unguarded. Then came the pivotal moment, the one that later becomes the point of no return. They stepped onto the terrace outside, snow falling gently. The night wind felt like silk. Mia brushed Kristina's cheek with her fingertips, and Kristina allowed it, without resistance, without retreat. And they kissed. It was not fierce or desperate. It was quiet, honest, unhurried. Yet in it was the breaking of walls that words could never achieve. Everything else seemed to fade. In that moment, two women stopped pretending to be invulnerable. But life didn't suddenly become a fairy tale. Drama lingered. Mia wrestled with the thought, what if I fail again? Kristina, at times, retreated sharply, as if opening her heart could shatter everything. There were moments of frustration, when Mia's desire to build a connection collided with Kristina's habitual coldness. Debates over drinks, over what true weakness meant, admitting feelings or shielding oneself from them, sometimes ended unresolved. Yet each day they chose to be near each other. Each evening by the fireplace revealed new pieces of truth, new confessions, small gestures of care. Through this, trust grew, quietly but steadily. On the final evening, they stood on the viewing platform above the slopes, the resort sparkling like a tiny universe. Kristina exhaled. I don't know what will happen next, but I want honesty. And I want to stay close. I don't want to hide again. Mia stepped closer and simply hugged her, softly, as if embracing all the years Kristina had feared to show life inside. That was enough. Snow fell around them, slow and gentle. No second kiss was needed. Honesty had already occurred. Their story was not a casual resort fling. It was the start of a new life. It was more than skiing down a mountain, it was a climb back to themselves. Mia reflected on the heartbreaks, the disappointments, the times she doubted herself. Each one had prepared her for this courage, for the honesty she now allowed. Kristina felt warmth that had been absent for years, realizing that trust could be more powerful than control, and vulnerability more freeing than strength. Together, they could be seen, fully and honestly, without fear. They lingered there, wrapped in each other's arms, listening to the faint crunch of snow underfoot, the distant hum of the resort. The lights glimmered like promises scattered across the dark slopes. In that fragile, fleeting moment, both felt the impossible, that even after years of fear, love could arrive quietly, insistently, and transform everything. The slopes would still call them in the morning, the runs still long and demanding. But now, the descent wasn't just about speed, it was about trust, intimacy, and courage. They had found a way to step forward together, each slope, each moment, a choice to remain open, a promise that they could be fully alive, fully seen, and fully themselves. And in the quiet falling snow, they understood it fully. Life could be both fragile and enduring, just like the love they had discovered in each other. And they were ready.